Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Stephanie, your double board certified critical care physician who works with physicians that are struggling with their jobs, burnt out with their careers, or who just want some career advice. Through my books, webinars, coaching, and speaking, I help physicians discover alternative jobs and careers in medicine so that they can practice medicine on their own terms. Good evening and happy Friday. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of my physicians a happy National Doctors Day. This culminates the end of National Physicians Week. And as you know, we have been having a series of Facebook Live conversations every evening discussing issues and topics that impact physicians. But before we get started, I need a favor. If you're watching this live, let me know where you're watching me from. If you're watching me on replay, please type replay. If you like the comment, hit the like button. If you love the comment, hit the love button. And please feel free to tag people that you think need to hear this. And please feel free to share this Facebook Live. And so, like I said, this is National Physicians Week. Today is National Doctors Day. And we have been talking about issues that impact physicians. So let's just start off by talking about why is National Physicians Week needed and why do we need to celebrate a National Doctors Day? National Doctors Day has been celebrated for a long time, but recently, maybe 2016 or 2017, National Physicians Week came into existence due to the efforts of our fellow physician, Dr. Kimberly Jackson, and her organization, Physicians Working Together. And National Physicians Week not only gives us an opportunity to celebrate physicians and everything that we do for our communities and our hospitals and our patients, but it also gives us the opportunity to discuss some really important issues impacting physicians and healthcare in the United States of America. So, for this past week, we have tackled some interesting subjects. On Monday, we talked about the positive economic impact of physicians. Tuesday was a great discussion because we talked about America's love-hate relationship with physicians. Wednesday, we discussed the Medscape 2018 Physician Lifestyle Survey. Last night, we talked about 4 easy steps for physicians to create the lifestyles that they want. So tonight, we're just going to go back through briefly each of these topics. And if anybody has any questions or, comments, please feel free to put those in the comment box. Now, we talked about on Monday the huge economic impact of physicians. And so the American Medical Association released a report in January that detailed the positive economic impact that physicians have on their communities, on the tax base, and the revenue that they generate for their hospitals. Now, according to the American Medical Association, physicians contribute $2.3 million to the economy, and we support 12.6 million U.S. jobs. So that means that each physician supports on average of 17.1 jobs apiece. And physicians contribute $92.9 billion with the B dollars in state and local tax revenue. So each physician contributes about $126,000 in tax revenue a year. So that is pretty impactful. Physicians also have a huge impact on the revenue of their affiliated hospitals. On average, each physician contributes about $1.4 million in annual revenue to their affiliated hospitals per year, with the top producers being orthopedic surgeons, invasive cardiologists, and family practice doctors. Family practice doctors, on average, contribute about $2 million in revenue to their affiliated hospitals. So this is huge. And also, physicians, like I said, for every one physician, there's about 17 jobs that we support. For every one physician, there are 10 healthcare administrators. So the main people that are telling us how to do our jobs, we're supporting their jobs because we're the ones that are actually generating revenue. Let me turn this light on to give me some better lighting here on my little computer light is not doing its job, so excuse me for that. So what does this mean for physicians? It means that for physicians, oftentimes we've been blamed for the fact that healthcare costs are so expensive and that healthcare costs are rising, and it's got to be the physician salaries that are behind everything, and that's really not true, because physicians, as we contribute a lot to the economy. There's lots of people working because we are seeing patients. There's a lot of people who have jobs because of us. So therefore, as a physician, it's important that you know your value and you know your worth. Know that you contribute substantially to the financial health of your communities. You contribute to the jobs. You contribute to the tax. America's love-hate relationship with physicians. Now, on the one hand, people really admire us. One survey shows physicians as being one of the top admired professions. However, lately, and especially due to social media, there's a whole lot of physician bashing. A whole lot of people think that we don't know what we're doing, that we're just in it for the money, that we're, in cahoots with big pharma. So on the one hand, you admire us, but then on the other hand, you don't. So it's kind of like this love-hate relationship. So I talked about a couple of things that I think are responsible for the love-hate relationship that America has with its physicians. And one thing that I think is responsible for that is unrealistic expectations. I think a lot of people, put unrealistic expectation on the power of these diagnostic tests and these medicines. And, you go on the Google and you go on the internet and you read all the stuff and you expect everything just to happen just the way you want it to happen. I think I've lost my connection. Sorry about that. But unfortunately, things don't really happen that way. And sometimes, despite our best efforts, we don't have a satisfactory outcome. And, I'm sorry to say things just happen, but I think so. One of the things that we really need to do is to learn how to manage expectations, because I think one of the reasons that there's this love-hate relationship with physicians is that I think, sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. The second reason I think we have a love-hate relationship is due to the fact that I think, we all are faced with increasing time pressures. There's too little time to spend with our patients. We have increasing financial pressures from our employers, decreasing insurance reimbursement, and we're forced to see more patients in a smaller amount of time. And that leaves the patient sometimes feeling rushed and not heard. That leaves us feeling frustrated. But, we are really trying to do better. Another reason I think there is a love-hate relationship that the public has with physicians is the belief that our knowledge and our skill set are easily replaceable. We have the internet, we have social media, people are, crowdsourcing their illnesses. And on the one hand, that's good because it provides people unparalleled access to information. But on the other hand, sometimes too much information is a bad thing, especially if you don't know what to do with it. And Dr. Google sometimes is the bane of our existence as physicians. So, I'm sure you guys have seen this mug circulating on the internet. It says, "Don't confuse your Google search for my medical degree." And that's absolutely right. Because like I said, sometimes too much knowledge and too much information can be harmful when you don't know how to interpret that data. The other reason I think that there's a love-hate relationship between physicians and the American public and our persona is the fact that people believe, hey, Dr. Crystal, thank you so much for joining me, that people believe that physicians make too much money. But what people don't understand is physicians are under a huge financial pressure. Most physicians are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt from undergraduate school and medical school. Then we don't really start our careers until our mid-30s, because after medical school, we have to do a residency that's anywhere from 3 to 7 years. I did a 3-year residency and I did 2 fellowships. So, after medical school, there are physicians who still train for an additional 7, 8 years after residence, after medical school. So that does not mean that we physicians are able to start our careers into our early or mid 30s. So that puts us a decade behind our colleagues. So that means all of this debt is accumulating interest. It means that we're not able to contribute to our retirement funds. That's 10 years behind the 8 ball. So, we're not just making a whole bunch of money. We have a whole bunch of debt. Now, when we always talk about healthcare cost, everybody wants to point the finger at the doctor, because you see that one doctor driving a Lamborghini and the fact that he's on a golf course. But what you don't know is the fact that, he's semi-retired or she's semi-retired and she put her 40 years in. What you don't know is that physicians on a whole support an average of 17.1 jobs, and that for every one physician, there are 10 healthcare administrators. What you guys don't know is that CEOs of hospitals and insurance plans make well over 6 figures, and a lot of them make 7 figures, and a lot of them make tens of millions of dollars in salary every year, these CEOs of these major health plans. So physicians are not the problem. We are not making too much money, and we are not the ones that are responsible for the high healthcare cost. The other thing that I think is responsible for America's love-hate relationship with physicians is this belief that the customer and the patient is always right, and we know that that's not the case. See, medicine is a profession, but medicine has transitioned from being a profession to also being a business. And with medicine being a business, there's the notion that patients are customers, and this whole customer satisfaction and the customer is always right, that works at Walmart and Target, but it doesn't work in the medical profession for several reasons. Quality care does not necessarily mean that you're going to be satisfied with it, because patient satisfaction does not translate to good care. For example, America has a problem with opiate medications and opiate abuse. We have a lot of people coming into the emergency department wanting their Dilaudid fixed. When they don't get their Dilaudid or their OxyContin or their Narcos, they get upset and they are dissatisfied, and they may actually rate you as being a poor physician or rate the hospital as doing a bad job, when actually we're just doing what's best for you and not feeding your addiction. Like I said, Dr. Google is the bane of our existence. People come in with simple complaints but want expensive imaging studies that are not indicated. People come in with a cold and want antibiotics. They're not satisfied, but they've gotten appropriate care. They've gotten the standard of care, but they're not satisfied. And unfortunately, physicians are very frustrated and very burnt out about this, because these patient satisfaction scores are being tied to their salaries. So there is this one thing, and always remember this. For those of you who are patients, for those of you who are parents, your kids are more satisfied with you when you give them junk food and let them do whatever. But as a parent, you know that you have to raise them properly, make sure that they're well nourished and well-behaved individuals. Your kids aren't going to like you when you make them do certain things, but that's in their best interest. So just because your kids aren't satisfied with you doesn't mean you're a good parent. Likewise, just because you may not be satisfied with your health care doesn't necessarily mean you've gotten bad care. So that is something that you need to realize, and maybe you need to discuss with your physician. Now, another reason I think that there's a love-hate relationship with Americans physicians is the physician-patient relationship has eroded. A lot of times you're forced to change your primary care physician because your insurance company has changed. There's a lot of fluctuations in the market, so therefore things aren't necessarily going to be stable. So when your insurance company changes, they add physicians, they drop other physicians, your PCP may change. You get fragmented care. We recognize this. We don't like it, but it is what it is. Your outpatient doctor, your outpatient primary care doctor may not do inpatient medicine. So if you get admitted to the hospital, you'll probably see another physician, and we have to make sure that those physicians communicate with each other. You have varying teams of physicians that have lots of different physicians and providers involved in each team. So your care is often fragmented. And then also, we physicians are faced with increasing regulations, increased administrative tasks that we have to do as it pertains to each patient we have and each visit we have. So that's also kind of vying for your time. So this whole patient-physician relationship has kind of been eroded on so many levels. Back in the day, it was the patient and the doctor, and that's all there was. But now we've got, the insurance companies and these regulations and all these check boxes that doctors have to check to make sure they ask you about things that aren't pertinent to why you are being seen. But those are just some of the, you feel the frustrations and we feel the frustrations as well. So for my physician friends, what does this mean? I think this whole issue about America's love-hate relationship with doctors, with physicians, serves as a good starting point for us to have some talking points with our patients and the general public in terms of what we do, what really goes on behind the scenes, and how we can kind of bridge the gap and manage some expectations between, what people expect of physicians and what we're actually able to do. The healthcare system in the United States of America is broken, and because physicians are oftentimes the face of the healthcare system, we bear the brunt. So I just look at this as an opportunity for us to do some educating to the public about, we've got a broken system. Yeah, this is what we're going to try to do, but maybe we can kind of come to some mutual agreements. Now, the other thing that we talked about on Wednesday, we talked about the 2018 Medscape Physician Lifestyle Survey, and I think it kind of had some interesting results in that survey. So most of the people, the physicians that responded to the survey, reported that they were very happy people outside of work. And the happiest people outside of work are your allergists, your immunologists, your dermatologists, and your EM doctors. Now, the least happy people, of course, are the oncologists, public health and preventive medicine docs, and the cardiologist. 73% of the physicians surveyed reported having a spiritual belief system, and of those doctors, 76% reported saying that their belief system helps them deal with stress. In terms of personality traits, no, we're not all crazy. 38% of physicians reported that they're an even keel of both being introverted and extroverted. The most introverted physicians are the public health and preventative medicine docs, your pathologists, of course, and your rheumatologists, and your most extroverted docs are your general surgeons, your urologists, and your obstetrician gynecologists. Now, in terms of relationships, 77% of the physicians surveyed are married. In terms of close friends, greater than 50% reported 3 or fewer close friends. Now, but we do know that in terms of friendship, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of your friends. So most physicians have close friends, which is good. In terms of lifestyle, 49% of physicians take 3 to 4 vacation weeks per year, with employed physicians taking slightly more vacation than self-employed physicians. Now, in terms of health and wellness, 23% of physicians exercise between 4 and 5 times a week. However, 11% of us don't exercise at all, and we really need to do better because we need to practice what we preach. In terms of alcohol consumption, most physicians don't drink a lot. 49% have less than 1 drink per week, and 22% of physicians don't drink at all. And in terms of cars, no, we are not all driving Bentleys and Porsches and Lamborghinis. Most physicians drive modest cars, with Honda and Toyota being the favorite cars. So what does this mean? This physician lifestyle survey, it's great information, but to me, it just serves to reinforce the fact that we physicians are people too. We're regular people behind that white coat and the stethoscope. Physicians are people too, and I think sometimes that the general public forgets that. We are people, we have emotions, we have families, we need to improve our health sometimes, just like everybody else, but physicians are people too. Now, last night, we talked about 4 easy ways to create the life that you want. And of course, I have to give full disclosure. I'm on a locum assignment here in St. Croix. That's right, Dr. Crystal, we are human like our patients. And I really think that some people forget that. They forget that the person that you are talking to, that you are sharing, intimate details about your health, is a person, is a human being. They may be going through the same thing you're going through. They may be having challenges with their kids. They're married to, right, we are humans, and I really think that people tend to forget that. And I would just like to implore everybody who's watching this, who knows a physician, who has a physician, has a personal physician, just take that time to remember that this physician is a person. They are a person just like you are. So, with that being said, for my physicians, what we talked about last night is 4 easy steps to create the life you want. And like I said, last night I was late because I am in St. Croix in a locums assignment. I had an opportunity to go out with some other doctors and their spouses, had a great time. But life hasn't always been like this for me. So I went through some challenges, and that's why I like to share with other physicians some of the struggles that I've had and some of the things that I do to kind of make my life what I want. So the first thing that you need to do in order to create the life you want is to learn how to say no. No is a complete sentence. And here are the things that you say no to, and here are the people you say no to. You say no to the things and the people that don't add value to your life. If it does not add value, I'm going to need you to not do it, okay? Say no to the things that add stress. Say no to the things that are distractions, things that distract you from your purpose. And this is very important for my younger physicians that are just starting out their careers, for my student doctors who may be watching it, my resident physicians that may be watching. There's so many more distractions in today's society than there were just even 15 or 10 years ago. Say no to things that distract you and things that threaten to get you off course. Say no to things and people that are going to discourage you. You know what you want to do. You know you want to start that business. You know you want to start that practice. You know you want to complete this additional fellowship. Say no to the people that discourage you. And say no to unrealistic expectations. And this is important in this day of social media because, everybody has a Facebook persona and a Facebook life, and everybody has a real life. And sometimes the real life does not match up with the Facebook life. But because we are a social media society and we're being bombarded with images, it is so easy to get sucked in and to be deceived by unrealistic images that are being presented. So the thing is to take some time and to say no about unrealistic expectations. Say no to people who have unrealistic expectations of you. Say no to things and people that have unrealistic demands of your time and demands of you. Those are the things that you say no to. Now, just like you got to say no to some things, there are some things that you have to say yes to. Say yes to the things that add value to your life. Say yes to the things that are going to be an investment in you, something that's going to give you a new skill. For my physician, something that's going to give you a new skill, something that's going to make you marketable, say yes to the things that are going to extend your career life without burning you out. Say yes to that new hobby, things that bring you joy. Say yes to things that improve your health and wellness. Say yes to people who add value to your life. So you say no to things that don't add value, and you say yes to things that add value to your life. Now, third step into making the life that you want is to do less. That's right. Do less, do fewer things. I need us all to stop multitasking. I don't know what it is. Like 20 years ago, multitasking became the rage, and we're all, been conditioned to think that the busier we are, the better we are. But we need to stop that. Okay, we need to focus on what we're doing, do a couple of things and do those well. Then we need to outsource. Okay, my mommy doctors, my moms, for those of you who are suffering from mommy guilt, from those of you who have the full-time job as a physician and then you got to do the full-time mommy job and wife job, I'm going to need you to outsource because that's too much that you guys have to do. And there are tasks at home that you need to have done. It doesn't matter who does it, but you need somebody else to do it. So who cares who does the laundry as long as the laundry gets done? Who cares who cleans the house as long as the house gets done? You need to outsource some things and you need to delegate. So you need to do fewer things, but concentrate on doing the things that only you can do. Everything else, outsource it and delegate it. Now that goes to my fourth point. The fourth point of creating the life that you want is to do more. And the things that you do more are the things that benefit you, the things that uplift you, the things that improve the quality of your life, and do more of the things that you enjoy. And those are just my, 4 steps to creating the life that you want. So what does that mean for you as a physician? We know that physician burnout is at an all-time high. Physicians are burning out. Physicians are getting depressed. Physicians are leaving the profession, and even some physicians are unfortunately taking their life. But the thing is, your job is not going to change. Your employer is not going to necessarily do anything that is going to decrease the risk of burnout. So what we have to do as physicians is that we have to be proactive in designing the life that we want. So by doing these 4 things, this serves as a blueprint for you to sit down and ask yourself some hard questions. What can I say no to? What can I say yes to? What do I need to do less of, and what do I need to do more of? Because we need to be proactive, and we need to learn to live our life by design and not by chance. So I hope that Dr. Crystal, thank you so much for transcribing for me. I really wish all of my physicians a happy National Doctors Day, and I hope that you have enjoyed my series of Facebook Live lectures that we have done throughout the week. For those of you who want to catch the other videos, please go to my Dr. Stephanie page, because they are on the Dr. Stephanie page. But in celebration of National Physicians Week and in National Doctors Day, I am offering a free Locums 101 webinar. Thank you, Dr. Crystal. A free Locums 101 webinar for everybody that is interested. All my physicians that are interested in doing locums, have considered locums, want to get started. This free webinar will be on April 16th, and it will give you everything that you need to know in order to get started as a locums doctor. So what I need for you to do, I need you to register today. I need you to go to www.locums101.com to register for this free webinar, because space is limited. I thank you all so much for joining me this week, and I hope my physicians have had a wonderful National Physicians Week. I hope you've had a great National Doctors Day. The day is not over. Go do something tonight to celebrate you being the fabulous physician that you are. I appreciate your support, and we will talk soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.